Hello and welcome to another Hawkview Collector instruction video. In this video, we will look over how to export your acquisitions or series or trends into different file formats that can be used outside of the Hawkview Collector software suite. Before we begin, I'll remind you that everything that we will be discussing here is available in the user instruction manual, which is accessible through the software in the help menu. So in order to export data, you'll need to have a view containing the trends you want to export. This can be in the form of an acquisition or equation that generates a view when you open it, or a custom view that you've created. So let's open up this acquisitions view. To export these trends, I'm going to click on the export button in the toolbar. This opens the export window. You can see here I can export in two file formats, CSV or the NTEC file format. Let's start with the CSV. First option that you see here, which is for both, is the option to export only visible trends. The nice thing about views is that you can customize which trends you want to see in them, which trends are contained in the view, and which trends are visible in that view at that time. For instance, I can right-click on a trend, hide it, so I can get a better view of just the trends I'm interested in, and then show it later without having to actually remove this trend series from my viewer completely. Next is the resampling. This allows you to export data at a different sampling rate than it was acquired at. For instance, if you have an acquisition that acquired data at a sampling period of, or frequency rather, of 1 kilohertz, you can choose to export it at a lower frequency if you are not interested in the high frequency analysis. The next is the time range. You have three options for your start and end time. You can either select a specific start and end time. You can select a screen minimum and maximum, so it will be what is displayed in the view currently. And you can select the first and last sample of that trend. You can also mix and match your start and end conditions. Finally, the total duration is displayed on the bottom. If I want to show an example, this, I can change my start time. You can see the duration is changing with it. Let's set this back to our 31-day duration. And let's export this as a CSV. And I'm going to place it inside my demo workspace just to keep things together. Example export. You can see if I open my demo workspace file, I have a CSV file here. Containing the header, which corresponds to the format that Hawkview requires. So this is a CSV file that Hawkview can import, as well as the date times and the data for each channel that I exported. Let's export this as an NTEC file and look at the difference. So the only difference in the configuration is instead of having a resampling option in choose frequency, you have a subsampling option where you can pick a moving average, and this will resample your data at every X number of steps with the optional moving average calculated to output. So let's grab this screen minimum, screen maximum as well. These time range configurations are the same for both. And in this case here, we need to select a folder, but it will output one file for every single channel. And to avoid having all of those files loosely spread around my demo workspace folder, I'm going to create a new one and just call it NTech. There we go. It's exported. If I open my folder, I see it. I have all the files in their format, their header, and values. That's the gist of how you export using Hawkview Collector. It's not very complicated. I hope this video was helpful. Thank you for watching.